Hey everybody, I'm going to do a quick review on this knife here. This is the BuckNBear Lynx Tactical Flipper. Check that out. Alright. And be honest and upfront, BuckNBear sent this to me to review, and so I'm going to check it out for you guys and let you know what I think. So let's look at this. You got 1, 2, I can't count, my eyes are all messed up. 1, 2, 3, about 3.6 inches of 440C coated steel here, and a really cool looking Tanto blade. I like all this angles and swedges and stuff, so that's pretty cool. Check that out. Let's check it out real quick, see how sharp it came. I haven't touched it up or anything. Cool. More coupons. Sorry for the ripping noises. Rip, tear. Get a coupon out and see how sharp it came. Just check it out. That's not the right one. There we go. Came really sharp. There you go. Super sharp. Let's test the Tanto part. That's ripping. Let's check it out here. There we go. So it's super sharp. Came nice and sharp from the BuckNBear folks. And you have about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4.5 inches of G10. A really rough texture G10 there. It's not uncomfortable or anything. It's just not sanded down, so you got a good grip on here. Has an excellent lanyard area. However, I didn't like the way my lanyard was scooting around inside that slot there. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you get lanyards in there. So I put it on this backstop here, and I like that better. So actually it has 2 lanyard options. That's pretty cool. It does have a right hand tip only clip, so lefties are gonna have to struggle a little bit. It's not too bad. I mean, sticking in your pocket, yay ways, but that's not a horrible thing. All right, now this is the cool thing. It comes. It's an assisted flipper on bearings, and this thing is just smooth as silk on the flipping. So let's see what else we got here. You got all the way open construction, so this thing's gonna be easy to clean out. You got a liner lock here. It's a pretty stiff liner lock. You don't have any kind of play on the blade whatsoever. Left, right, up, down, anything like that. You got the regular torque screw in here, although it looks like it's different. You have the regular torque screw, so you can open this thing up if you fancy an opening, but I'm not really into opening assisted too much unless I have to, because putting them back together is kind of a booger. Alright, so, let's check out the box real quick. It comes in a pretty cool box. A little magnetic box with the cut out cushiony inside. So that's pretty cool. A little BuckNBear logo, Lynx logo on the front. Did we check the Lynx logo out on the blade? So there you go, on the back. Let's check out how much this thing weighs. Now it's not super light. Let me check this out here. So you're looking at 161 grams and 5.7 ounces. That's not terrible. That's definitely in my EDC range. From 4 ounces to 72 ounces. That's the El Shetty. I don't remember what the El Shetty is, but it's up there. So I'll EDC this with no problem. Now let's get into the issues I have with this knife. It feels comfortable as far as the size of it, as far as getting your grip on there. These 3 fingers, extremely perfect as far as grip goes. This one is the problem, and I haven't done any heavy work with this thing. I might do some testing on it with cardboard and maybe taking it into the testing area. But it seems to me that doing any kind of extensive work with this jimping here is going to get old real quick. And the problem is the size of these jimping are pretty rough. This is some pretty rough jimping. Here, let me see if I can demonstrate this. Alright, so you got this can here. Let's see if we can show you this. Like, kind of scratch that up. See what I'm saying? The side of that thing. That's going to scratch into the top of that can a little bit. Well, that's what you're going to be grabbing with when you get a hold of that thing. Now, just to make sure we're being honest, let me see if I can do that with my finger. So I can't do it with my fingernail there. So that's how I'm going to do that. So it's got a little bit of a sharp edge here. And so I think when you get in there and you try and do some work, that's going to get annoying. So I would like to see this gone, or at least milled down a little bit. We've had some issues with the BuckNBear stuff. You remember this knife here? It's been a couple weeks, but this knife cut your hand up or just hurt all over. Now I fixed this thing, and this thing is awesome. This thing is just magnificent now. I want to go stab stuff with this. Smooth that out, smooth all the scales out, smooth the end here. It's not super pretty or anything. I don't have super pretty tools. But this is all smoothed out, so now you can stab and smack, and this is not going to hurt you at all. And we already tested the steel on this, and it was magnificent. So, if you get one of these, it's kind of pricey for what you got to do to it, but once it's modified, that's a pretty sweet knife. And that's the whole thing. You have to modify this. This is just kind of, like I showed you, really scratchy. And you get on there and you're going to be cutting boxes or doing whatever. And I might try and test this for you guys and just check it out. And another thing, there's a lot of jimping on this knife. You got jimping here, jimping here, jimping here, jimping all the way through. And most of it is not an issue. This jimping, I can see being really, really useful. This up here being useful maybe. However, the big problem you're going to get into, and this is annoying just a little bit, but just enough to make you think twice, is this. This jimping on this flipper tab is crazy. And for an assistive flipper, it hurts your finger to open this thing. Now, not being a girl or anything, I think we've seen that my fingers are pretty tough. But, I'm not trying to insult girls anyway. So it's not the girl thing, but you know what I'm saying. I'm not trying to be soft here. But this is pretty rough here. Check this out. Can you hear this? Watch what it does to this. See that? That's what your finger's running up on every time you open this thing. There's some rough jimping on this flipper tab here. Now, it would just take about 2 seconds to smooth that out with a Dremel. And then it would be a lot more useful. I mean, and it's useful now, since you just have it for a second. It's just a noticeable thing. It's like getting punched in the nose before you go into the grocery mart. Look, welcome to our grocery mart. It's super useful, but we have to hurt you really quick before you come in. It's not gonna, look at that. It chewed right into that metal. It's not super hard metal, but still. That shows you what kind of aggressive jimping is on that flipper, and it's not needed. You got bearings, you got an assisted flipper, and it flips open just amazing. That assisted flipper is as strong as anything you're going to find. So I'd like to see that fixed, and that's probably what I'm going to do, is smooth that out. This is a cool knife. This is that 440C. We've already tested the 440C that BuckNBear is working with, and it is beastly. It is not any kind of joke on that 440C. Now, here's some other, I'm going to show you a couple things. Here's a Kershaw. Of course, Kershaw is what we know probably as the king of assisted flippers, right? I mean, can we think of anybody else that's really up there? And this is the Kershaw Fatback. I bought that earlier this year. It's got a lot of the same dimensions as far as blade length and kind of handle length. Now, this is going to cost you, I think, about $25. And let's see, you're going to get, the tip up, tip down, left, right carry on this. But the blade is not nearly as substantial as far as thickness and width and all that. The lockup is fine, but for some reason, just holding this feels like a stronger knife. Maybe it's just because of the weight, but it just feels like something that wants to work harder. This doesn't feel like something you're going to get. Maybe it's because of the way this thing is gripped. This doesn't feel like a work knife. This feels like something else. I mean, you could get some work done out of this, but And this has got some jimping all the way through there too. Oh, that's another thing. The lock jimping on this. This needs to be smoothed out just a little bit. I don't know if anybody at BuckNBear is listening to me. Probably not. But if they are, smooth this out. Smooth your edges out just a little bit, and it makes a different knife experience. If this, I could spend 10 minutes on this and take away every negative aspect of this knife, and it would be a great knife to have. Especially, I just checked out the price on these things. I thought they were more expensive, but they're not. They're only $29.99, and that's really tough to beat. So that's 30 bucks for a knife with an awesome 440C. They're using that same BuckNBear 440C from that Tanto death machine we just showed you. The only problem is the jimping's a little bit tough through here and tough through there. Now, that being said, if you like the Kershaw feel, see, this just doesn't feel as substantial. I don't know. It's not. This doesn't feel. This not. This is like a little assisted tank flipper thing. We might need to test it just to make sure. But as far as a working assisted flipper, you're going to be hard pressed to beat something like this for 30 bucks. All right, I think that's it. I had some other Kershaw flippers to look at, but this is a totally different knife than even those. I love those. So sweet. This is a great EDC knife here. So I love this knife here. Don't get me wrong. I like the Kershaw Assisteds a lot. I brought another one out. Where's my other one? Oh, here it is. Of course, I brought out my favorite Kershaw Assisted of all time, the Piston. This is a great knife. If you get one of these, get one of these. That's awesome. But this is about the Lynx, the BuckNBear Lynx. A really cool. For 30 bucks, you're going to be hard pressed to beat something that's going to give you this much work. It's not. It feels solid on there. I'm not going to spine whack it. I think we've learned that just about anything with a frame lock or a liner lock, if you spine whack it enough, it's going to fail. So I'm not going to go ahead and do that. Let me get away from that for a little bit. Especially because I got to give this knife to somebody out there in the ether, and I don't want to mess up somebody's Christmas with a spine whacked Lynx. I think for 30 bucks, you're not going to be unhappy. You're definitely not going to be unhappy with this. If you spent 25 on the Fatback and you liked it, then spending 30 bucks on this is going to be a really cool day for you. It works out really well. It's a good knife. Like I said, I haven't tested the steel, but we did test the 440C on the other stabber that we had, that Tanto attack knife. The only problem we're going to have here is this jimping here is a little bit aggressive for your pinky, because everything else right through here is really nice. And the aggressive jimping on the flipper, 2 seconds with a file and maybe a Dremel, and all of a sudden this is a different knife. I might have to try that before I send it off, just so somebody will enjoy it a little bit more. But overall, I think you'll be pleased with this knife. This is not something that you'll be unhappy with. If you decide to give it to somebody for Christmas, they're going to be happy. And I think that's it. So, like here, subscribe here. Let me know what you think about the Lynx, the BuckNBear Lynx. So far, we had a couple decent knives from BuckNBear. I think overall, let me think before I open my mouth. This might be the best one yet. There was this monster here. Now, this one's the best one now, because it fits my hand better and it's smoothed out and it feels great. But coming in just unchanged or unmodded, this one's the best one so far, and for the price, it's a good deal. So that's 30 bucks on that. That's not a bad thing. You can get that on Amazon, I think, and you can also get that at the BuckNBear website. I'm looking at it right now. It's only $29 double aught, so 2900. That's 29 bucks. That's not bad. And I think that's it. Get over to Facebook, check us out. I think you're gonna like some people over there. We're having fun. And I will talk to y'all later.